As a project manager, you are not working at your project alone. You have a team, you have stakeholders, you have a customer, you have a lot of people around you that you need to communicate with. And meetings is one of the ways that you could communicate with them efficiently. I heard a lot about we should limit the number of meetings, there is a lot of time wasted in meetings, etc. Okay, we should not exceed some limitations. We should apply best practices within a meeting, such as having agenda or having a limited time or having a specific objective, etc. But still, we need meetings in our projects. During this video, I'm going to show you 10 types of meetings that your project might have. We might have different names. We will see together these meetings, and I will also provide you different names for such meetings. But still, I would recommend having meetings in your project. And many times, sending messages or emails is not enough. You should have a meeting. Even 15 minutes or 30 minutes a meeting will be efficient rather than exchanging a lot of emails. There is some patterns usually. If I have once read about if the email exchange exceeded 3 ping pongs, then maybe having a short call is better to improve the understanding. But usually if you feel the needs to, and sometimes having a regular meeting is also a best practice. Let's deep dive into the different types of meetings we might have. The first type is business meeting. This could happen before the kickoff of the project or during the project. We might have the customer asking for extension for the project or trying to negotiate other stuff with you. So we can have another name for business. We can have negotiation meeting, for example, instead of business meeting, in which you are discussing with key stakeholders. The second type is planning meeting. Usually planning meeting is done with the customer and with the project development team as well. They sit together and they try to figure out which components or which things that will be developed or will be executed during the project. The objective for predictive projects is to come up with the WBS, work breakdown structure, which is including all the work items in order to finish the project. For agile projects, the planning meeting is sprint planning meetings, which is planning for the next iteration. And we could have other types of planning meetings, such as release planning meeting. We can have the backlog refinement meeting, which is kind of trying to clarify all the planned items. The third item is kickoff meeting. The kickoff meeting is a meeting in which we define the start of the execution or the start of the project or the start of a new phase of the project. So whenever there is a start of a new milestone, then we might have a kickoff. Usually in a single project we have one kickoff, but if the project is split into many phases, we could have many kickoff meetings. The fourth type of meeting is the work meeting, and this is actually when you are doing the execution. We might have to meet with the different stakeholders, etc., to discuss some items. This work meeting could have other names like stakeholders meeting, or it could be problem-solving meeting, problem-solving. So this, it could also have other names such as a team meeting, or if you are working in a specific industry such as construction, it could be construction meeting or whatever, depending on the trade that you are working in. So moving on to the fifth type of meeting, we have the status meeting. During the execution of the project, we might have regular meetings with the stakeholders or the client in which we are showing the progress of our project. Instead of status, we can have another name like progress meeting, in which we are showing the progress of our meeting. The status meetings could be on a regular basis, such as daily, for example. And if it's daily, we can call it a daily meeting. For agile practices, they call it stand-up meeting or scrum meeting, which is happening on a daily basis. In case of agile, it's not just a status, but it's a way to sync between the team and try to plan for the next day. So it's a combination between status and planning. It could be weekly in some cases, weekly status meeting. In other long-term projects, we could have monthly or bi-monthly status meeting. So depending the frequency of the status meeting could be regular, like I said, as it could be irregular, like having a status meeting as soon as we discover that we need to do some exchange about the status of the project. Let's move to the next type of meetings, the review meetings. And sometimes we call this demo meeting, which is demonstration meeting, or in some projects we can have stage gate meeting. We end the phase of the project and the project went through a review, and if the review succeeded, then the project will go to the next phase. And in other cases, if the review did not succeed, the kill board will stop the project, and that's a stage gate meeting. A review meeting could be also called a performance review. Performance review meeting, which indicates that we are focusing on performance rather on the tangible results. Here, performance, we mean KPIs and measurements. Review, if we are talking about the demo, is rather than the product itself, what has been done. A stage gate meeting is usually for the startups. It could be in other industries, but for the startups, they are checking whether the project is performing as the business plan or not. If not, maybe the investors will no longer be interested with the project. Okay, so the next type of meeting is the change control meeting. This is actually only in predictive projects, in which we have the baseline, we have defined what we are going to execute during the project. And if during the execution we noted that there is some changes to be implemented, this meeting will be done between the CCB members, which is the change control board. Change control meeting will include all the members of the board to discuss this new change. The CCB is nothing more than the key players in the project, such as the project manager, the customer, key stakeholders, regulators, for instance, and stuff like that. Okay, so the next type of meeting is the team building meeting, in which the project team members meet together and have some exchange. This kind of meeting could be called happy hour, for example. It could be coffee time. It could be whole town, in which all team members of the project meet with the other staff in the company. So it could have many names, but the idea is team building, get the people to know each other better so they can collaborate more efficiently during the project. The next type is one-on-one meeting. This meeting happens usually between the project manager and team member. And the topic is either to evaluate performance, or if there is a conflict or the team member is not doing well, there is something to discuss, then the project manager tries to speak with that team member one-on-one. Only the project manager talking to that team member. So this kind of meeting could be regular, such as quarterly, every quarter, or it could be irregular when something wrong happens. The last meeting we have in our list is the lessons learned meeting. We have also different names for this meeting. We can call it retrospective. Especially in agile settings, we call it retrospective meeting, and it happens at the end of every iteration. Lessons learned meeting could happen anytime. A lot thinks that lessons learned meeting happens only at the end of the project. That's not true. Lessons learned meeting could happen at any time during the execution of the project. Whenever things happens, we need to capture some lessons from it, then we could have such a meeting. Sometimes we call this meeting post-mortem. And post-mortem here, especially when something wrong happens and we would like to investigate why this happened and what we should improve in order to prevent such bad thing to happen again. For instance, if the server stopped from working and we get customer complaints, etc. So we try to have such lessons learned meeting after fixing the issue and preventing that we get such claims from the customer because of the server stopping. So what we should do a backup, we should do some other precautions, and this is a post-mortem meeting, which, as I said, could happen anytime during the execution of the project. So these are the different types of meeting. The names could have other different names for all these meetings depending on your project. But the idea is here. Maybe I forgot some other kind of meetings. If you recall some other types, please post in the comment box.